What's good, people, traders, and dedicated gold chasers? Welcome back to another video at the Modern Day Trader with your boy Marcelino. And as you guys can see, you are looking at my journal, and we've taken about 122 trades just because the trade that I'm going to show you that I took this week has not been recorded yet. But as you can see, we're on a solid losing streak. And there is a big announcement that I'm going to make at the end of the video. So stay tuned until the end of the video. However, how did this week go? This week went, pretty average, early on in the week we took a L, and then I wanted to show you guys this specific trade just because I feel like this was one of the good ones. I feel like this was a trade that I really anticipated could play out, right? So if you look at it from a higher time frame perspective, so firstly we had the daily and the 4H aligning on the 18th of October, and then we also had 4H correlation. We then proceeded to pull back into the double bottom area, or the point of interest area, on the 15-minute, tapping us in. We then first waited, once we tapped into that area, for the 1 minute break of structure, which you can see indicated here by the first 1 minute break of structure. After that first 1 minute break of structure, we came back onto the 15-minute time frame, and this was the candle that essentially broke 1 minute structure, right? And you can see after that 15-minute candle essentially broke structure, you can see that we had multiple breaks of structures to the upside. So my opinion was that if price action is continuing to break highs, we should then continue and push to the upside, right? And what I simply did was I waited for that 15-minute candle, which is this one, to close. And once this one closed at about 12:45, I then anticipated that if we do break these highs, we should then continue to the upside. Now, as you can see, we basically formed this high on the 1 minute time frame. This pullback here was in the candle in which I set my buy stop. You can see that we got triggered in around these areas right here, and then we had a bit of drawdown, and then we proceeded to push to the upside. Now ultimately what you can see is the price action actually went up to the upside and then came back and took me out at break even, right? And down, all the way down here, what you will be able to see is that if you just go back around, I think 7:30 to 7:45, you'll be able to see the last bearish candle before the big impulsive push to the upside, and we corrected quite decently to the downside before pushing to the upside. Now initially I anticipated that we should at least pull these equal highs, but we failed to pull these equal highs on this particular day, right? And it just is what it is. Going into current market conditions, if I was just to clear all of my drawings and we just look at the higher time frame, now looking at the weekly, what you can see is that we had 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks where we had failed to break these highs that we created on the week of the 23rd of September. We are almost on the 23rd of October, which is basically a month worth of information. So that's just shouting at me, telling me that clearly price is failing to break highs. And we also, on the lower time frames, when I drop down, you will clearly see that price action is actually failing to break lows too. So what that basically means is that we are stuck within a consolidation or within a range bound market, right? And with that being said, let's jump down onto the daily time frame. Now what you can see is that, as I mentioned, from around about the 30th or the 27th of September all the way up to today, which is the 20th of October, it's almost more than a month we've been in this range where we created this range high, and I'd call this the range low. We can define that when we go down onto the 4H time frame. Now what I do note is that we clearly have an area in the market here of interest, and that's slightly above these liquid areas, or what I can say is liquidity above these areas here where we're failing to break above, because I can say that multiple people are trying to sell from these areas anticipating that we are going to go to the downside. Now what you can see is that although we hold in this area here, we're not breaking to the downside, we're just moving sideways, and we've been moving sideways since the start of October. And this kind of speaks to why I've been losing quite a bit. It's just because the markets have been ranging for time, bro. It's been ranging for time. So dropping down onto the 4H time frame. So the first thing we are going to do before we look at the range is just refine our point of interest on the 4H time frame. We're going to refine it to the last known bullish candle before the bearish push, and you can see that this last lower high, quote unquote, has created this lower low, and price action has been trading in this 4H range for time now. So we've been trading between this high and this low, and we haven't really moved out of what the 4H trading range actually is. Now within that 4H trading range, you can see that we have another trading range right here, and this trading range just comes from the fact that if you look at 4H structure to the upside, while we are making basically interstructures between the actual trading range structure, we're making higher highs and higher lows, and then we proceeded to break below this area right here, which signified essentially that we're going to be pushing bearish, right? But then after that, you can see that we failed to make a new lower low below this low that was created, and now essentially what we are doing is we are trading within a range. Now this range, we've been at the highs of these range at the range bound area for quite some time, and for me personally, what I've noticed is that a lot of my losses are due to market conditions. And so with that being said, until price action actually breaks out of this 4H range, now I am well aware that price action can break out to this 4H range, push up into these higher time frame points of interest, and then continue to the downside. I'm well aware of that. We can push up into this 199 area and then push to the downside, but I think I'll just be I'll put myself in a better position. I'll put myself in a net positive if I was to trade outside of this 4H range. So personally for me, I'm not doing anything until we actually break out of this particular 4H range right here that we have marked on the charts. I'm not doing anything other than waiting for a break above on the 4H or a break below. And even if we break above, I want to see how price action is going to react out of this 199 area to see exactly where price action could potentially go. So with that being said, what is the announcement? The announcement is that I'm going to be staying out of the live markets until this actually happens and until it occurs. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be studying all of these losses that I have incurred in the time that I've been trading in this range, just to understand, number one, how can I actually trade in the range and how can I be better in the range? Number two, how can I identify a range faster so that I don't have to lose too often in that particular range? And then number three, just being able to take anything and everything away from my losses in order to become a better trader. Now, I've passed the challenge in this time. I've failed the challenge in this time too, but it's just about understanding what I did right, what I did wrong, and how can I learn from my mistakes. And that's all it is. As a trader, you need to be able to take your results, stare at your inadequacies nakedly, and be able to tell yourself that your results are reflected on the actions that you essentially took in the live market conditions, and that's exactly what you get back. How do you get better results? Is by getting better input in order to get better output. Now, your output is never ever guaranteed, but that does not mean you need to slack on your input into the market. So as traders, what you need to do is you need to take your results over time, weigh it against a plan, see if you executed on that plan 100%, and if you did execute on that plan 80 to 100% of the time, the results are coming back bad. What is it? Is it market conditions? Is it your trading plan where the markets might be shifting? Or is it just simply that you need to be better and you need to do a bit more studying? Those are the questions that I'm asking myself in this time. Those are the questions that needs to be answered. And really and truly, I think every trader on his way to profitability needs to go through these types of things where you question your plan, you question what exactly got you to where you got to, because the market adapts all the time. And the only thing that really keeps you alive in the down times is risk management. Without risk management, you ain't shit. Without good RR, you ain't shit. Okay, you can lose 100 trades and still have your account if you have good risk management, essentially. So guys, from your boy Marcy at the Modern Day Trader, please review your trades, look over them wins, over the losses, and just don't take it personally. Remember that, like, whatever you're doing in the markets is just reflected by your results, and the only thing that you can get out of those results is becoming a better trader. Just bear that in mind. That's the only thing. All you need to do is take the fucking time out of your day to sit down, look at the charts, look at your trades that you've taken. How the fuck do I get better? That's it. Ask yourself the question, how do I get better? Take yourself out of your own trading plan and ask yourself, like, what did I do wrong and what did I do right, and how do I replicate the things that I did right, and how do I minimize the things that I did wrong, and boom, you'll have a fucking good trading plan moving forward and you'll start winning. And that's all I'm telling myself at this current moment. And so with that being said, man, please don't forget, your unmatched perspicacity coupled with your sheer indefatigability makes you a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. From your boy Marcy at the Modern Day Trader. Peace out, man.